Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? It is the Vegas Take on a Thursday. Sharp and Shapiro, glad you could join us. Oh, boy, do we have a lot to get to today. A lot, including we will continue to cover the Vegas Golden Knights. Of course, the shocking news yesterday. I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous. And members of the media in this town want to make excuses for the Vegas Golden Knights and figure out why they fired Gerard Gallant. I heard one idiot on the radio today saying, well, I think the Vegas Golden Knights, Gallant, he's just not a motivator. He's just not a very good motivator. I mean, some of the dumbest people in the world trying to break down this decision. Anyway, the reason why I bring that up is we have,
Brian, motivation is key in hockey.
Yeah.
It is absolutely paramount.
Like these idiots on the radio making $10 an hour have any idea how Gallant, talks to his players. Anyway, I bring that up because Kid Poker himself, Daniel Negreanu, will be joining us. Yes, he's known as one of the best poker players in the world and has been for a long time. But we ain't going to be talking poker with Daniel. He is a Golden Knights super fan, probably more knowledgeable when it comes to the NHL than anybody I've ever met in my life. And I have met quite a few people in my life, believe it or not. So Daniel will be joining us in hour number 2. Ron Futrell from Channel 8 will be joining us. They flew him out to Ottawa to cover the Knights game tonight. I want to figure out why the Golden Knights organization kicked out some members of the media yesterday at the Knights practice facility in Summerlin. We'll get to that coming up with Ron coming up in hour number 2 as well. This hour in studio, this is going to be a lot of fun. Her name is Lisa Song Sutton, and she is a former Miss Nevada, now turned GOP congressional bid. I mean, she's that's what she's doing. She's turning to politics, and she's running for Nevada's 4th congressional district. So she's going to be joining us in studio at the bottom of the hour, and a lot to get to. Then hour number 3, of course, it's the Dirty Dining segment with Darcy Spears from ABC 13. An interesting situation, to say the least, at the UNLV basketball game yesterday. I'm sitting behind the bench for the San Jose State game, and a San Jose State player pulled a Ron Artest. What I mean by that is he pulled a Malice at the Palace. He actually, a kid at the end of the bench, a freshman, redshirt, went into the stands as some fans were hazing. And I will explain to you how I was a little bit involved in this. It is a wild and crazy story. We'll get to that in hour number 3. Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports will also be joining us. And the man, the con man. No, I know what you're thinking. I'm not talking about Donald Trump. His name is Vegas Dave. He has been, known as a so-called professional handicapper. Well, now there is a class action lawsuit that apparently is going to be filed against him for lying to his clients and conning people. What a shocker. We'll get to that story coming up in hour number 3 as well. Whoa, like I said, a lot to get to today. A lot to go over. This Rachel Maddow interview yesterday is very interesting. We'll get to that. But I want to start with Michael Avenatti. And it's not good news for Michael, sadly. Yeah, I tried, just for the hell of it, I tried calling his cell phone yesterday. I went straight to voicemail. Not good. If you don't know what's going on with Michael, he was in the courtroom yesterday, and then he was let out in handcuffs by members, I guess, of the IRS. I guess you could say.
He was in the courtroom 2 nights ago.
2 days ago, correct. Yeah.
In Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. And he was let out of the courtroom in handcuffs. And for at least what people are saying is that he broke the agreement, bail agreement.
He had
bail was,
probable violations of his pre-trial terms, release terms.
Some serious stuff.
And it sounds like he has been hiding, or at least he's accused of hiding money from from creditors.
Yep.
And his ex-wife.
So,
and the number that was reported is anywhere from 7.5 to a collective $10 million.
And again, I have no idea if that's true or not, but what we do know is his bail was revoked yesterday. That's what I meant to say. That's what happened yesterday in court. His bail was revoked.
Yep.
So he's in California right now, but he's going to be heading to New York. Mm-hmm. The Nike case has been delayed, but he is going to remain behind bars at minimum until this case is finished. So they're going to be sending him to New York. He's going to be behind bars. He ain't coming out anytime soon. So, of course, there are a lot of people on Fox News and a lot of people on social media that are going after him. But again, these are the same people that, won't say a word when it comes to any Republican that is in a controversial situation, or for Donald Trump for that matter. So a lot of people that are saying negative things about Michael Avenatti have no credibility. I don't know whether he broke the law or not, but here's what I do know. You are innocent until proven guilty. And he is an attorney. He is not the president of the United States. He has gone after the president of the United States, but he's not the president, not as powerful as Donald Trump. But, like as I said, there are people on Fox News, particularly Fox News, on every show. Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, all the regulars on Fox News that will never say anything negative about a Republican but go after Democrats are the ones that are going after Michael Avenatti. Keep in mind, we've had Michael Avenatti on this show every week probably for the last 6 months. Tucker Carlson never reached out to him to come on the show until now because Tucker Carlson is a coward. So I want you to listen to this audio. So this is Tucker Carlson last night on his show. He did a 5 or 6 minute, piece on Michael Avenatti. I would like to call it a hit piece.
I'm sure it was a hit piece.
Yeah, because he's kicking somebody when they're down.
Right.
And
when they can't defend themselves.
So Tucker Carlson all of a sudden now wants to debate Michael Avenatti. Have a listen to this.
Well, we should note that we're in Los Angeles this week. We're mere minutes from where CPL is spending his time. We've obviously criticized him quite a bit on the show, but it's a news program. We'd like to hear his side of the case. We put in a request just hours ago to visit him for a jailhouse interview in Santa Ana where he's being held indefinitely. We hope that comes through. If it does, of course, we'll bring it to you here.
Excuse me, you're a news program? You're not a news program. You're a right-wing propaganda program. You're the same idiot that said white supremacy, the idea of it is a hoax. Tucker, you're not a news program. You're a right-wing hack news program. Okay, so let's get that straight right, number one. Number two, you would have never have done that when Michael Avenatti wasn't behind bars. So it's either one of two things. Either you're just trying to kick a guy when he's down, which I believe is true, or he's not going to say yes to an interview when he's behind bars because he can't talk about his cases, so you're trying to act like the tough guy. Oh, we requested Michael Avenatti. I think it's both. Tucker Carlson is a coward. He's a jackass. There's a lot of other names I could use to talk about Tucker, but he is a true coward wussy. And the fact that he waits till Michael Avenatti is arrested and he waits till Michael is put behind bars and now all of a sudden he wants to talk to Michael Avenatti speaks volumes about Tucker Carlson's character and if he ever wants to debate Michael Avenatti. The answer is no, obviously.
Well, let's be honest, Michael Avenatti, whether he's on our show or in New York City or in any studio in L.A. or behind bars, he would destroy Tucker Carlson in any type of debate situation.
Of course, but Tucker's not going to do that.
Obviously, and it's disgusting that he's trying to operate from a position of power. And you're right, Brian, it's one of those situations where if he does say no, then Tucker can say that, well, at least I made an effort.
Exactly.
I made an effort
I
made an effort to have the conversation. And if he does say yes, and he's just going to constantly just berate him about how he's behind bars.
Of course.
It'll be a totally biased, and he does report biased news. But I mean, to say that he's even relatively even keel or unbiased, it would be a complete lie at this point.
Yeah, of course he's biased. And look, that's fine. There's biased shows on MSNBC. There's biased shows on CNN. But don't go on your show and say, well, we run a news program here. We run a news program. No, you're not a news program. You're a biased right-wing hack who said some absolutely ridiculous things over the years.
Well, not only that, but they're getting paid. I mean, they're getting paid by specific sponsors to say the type of things and to ask type of questions and to report on the type of topics that they do.
Yeah.
So they're not their own original content. They're literally sponsors are paying them X amount of dollars to have them report the slant.
Well, all I know about Tucker is he's a sniveling coward. He's said racist, misogynistic things in the past on the air. I can imagine some of the things he says off the air. And like I said, he's a true coward. But we will continue to monitor the Michael Avenatti situation. Obviously, we're going to cover it. We're going to talk about it. I hope he's innocent. I hope he's right. I hope Michael's right when he says he's innocent. But there's a lot of serious trouble that he is going through right now.
I just think that he flew way too close to the sun with Nike. We obviously know he has evidence basically proving that Nike has been paying players for a long time. That he's very confident about that trial. He's stated that a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. But when you get too close to a multi-billion-dollar company like that, and there's a couple of maybe judges in New York City who are connected to William Barr or Donald Trump that are very Republican, and when you go after Donald Trump and when you get too close to him, when you might be the reason that Michael Cohen is behind bars. People are gonna take any type of shot they can. And when you make a mistake, and hopefully, and I'm not saying he made a mistake, but they're accusing him of hiding money from his creditors, from his wife, as well as structuring, which means going to the bank and taking anywhere from $8,000 to $9,900 out every single day to avoid, paying that plus $10,000 tax mark.
We don't know exactly what took place, but
we have absolutely no idea.
But we will continue to monitor the situation, and whenever there's new information, we'll report on it and we will talk about it. So we certainly will do that. I'll tell you something else that I want to talk about. I'm not a big Rachel Maddow fan. I think her show is boring. Don't watch it. But she did a hell of an interview and a hell of a job yesterday. What I mean by that is she spoke with Lev Parnas. Lev Parnas is the indicted associate, if you recall, of Rudy Giuliani, who apparently was in the middle of this Ukrainian scandal. And she interviewed him, and it was a very forthcoming, open interview. Here's where she asked if the president was aware that they were trying to hurt Joe Biden. Here is his response.
He knew about that.
Yeah, well, it was all about Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and also Rudy had a personal thing with the Manafort stuff, the Black Ledger. Mm-hmm. And that was another thing that they were looking into. But it was never about corruption. It was strictly about the Burisma, which included Hunter Biden and Joe Biden.
So that is extremely damning information. Now, of course, the question is this guy going to be testifying? Are they going to call him as a witness? Now, this man, Lev Parnas, was also asked, did you believe you were working for the president? Here's his response.
Your attorney told a federal court in New York that you were both Rudy Giuliani's clients and you were working for Mr. Giuliani in his capacity as personal attorney to the president.
Correct.
Which, by the transitive property, makes it seem like you were working for the president of the United States as part of his legal defense.
Yes, absolutely.
You want to talk? You can't get more directive and more forthcoming than that. It was an extremely long interview. He was asked a lot of questions, all of which were damning towards the president of the United States. So now the question is, will this guy be questioned in this upcoming trial? So Senator Martha McSally, who I just think is an awful human being. She is a Republican in Arizona. I don't think she's an awful human being because she's a Republican. I think she's an awful human being because of the way she treats people. Okay, so let me explain what happened yesterday. Say what you want about CNN, but I do believe congressional correspondent Manu Raju does a really, really good job, and he's fair. And he asks the tough questions to both sides. He is not an opinionated reporter. He is a reporter. He just asks the tough questions. This is what he does. I want you to listen to this exchange in response to a very fair question about President Donald Trump's upcoming impeachment trial. Have a listen to this.
Senator McSally, should the Senate consider new evidence as part of the impeachment trial?
Man, you're a liberal hack. I'm not talking to you.
You're not going to comment, Senator,
you're a liberal
about
hack.
this?
You're a liberal hack. Martha McSally, I'm not going to use the B word on the radio, but that's exactly what I think you are. Okay, you're just a horrible human being, and you are the B word. And the reason why I say that is because this isn't the first time.
Was she lying?
No, Manu Raju is absolutely not a liberal hack.
Okay.
I have no problem using that word. First of all, I don't think I would call Rachel Maddow a hack. She's done a pretty decent job for herself on that network, but she's certainly a liberal. Manu Raju, there's no evidence he's a liberal. He asked Republicans and Democrats all the difficult questions, and for her to answer and respond in that way shows you what an idiot she is, and she's taking a lot of flack on social media for that response. I mean, it's just rude. It's just rude, and if you don't want to answer the question because you're a coward, like the Mitch McConnells of the world, like the Nunez's of the world, like the Lindsey Grahams of the world, if you want to be a coward and sell your soul to the devil, go right ahead. But how about answering that question? It is a very, very fair question to ask. This was a damning interview yesterday on the Rachel Maddow show. This guy, Lev Parnas, there's a lot of evidence to support the fact that he was working with Rudy Giuliani and the president of the United States. He is would be a very, very important witness to get on the stand. And this information, listen, he hasn't done any of these full-blown interviews with the media. This was the first one, as far as I know. So this information just got out yesterday. So Manu Raju is trying to ask what I would consider a very fair question. Do you plan on questioning this guy? Don't you think this guy should be a part of the Senate trial? If you truly want to know what actually happened here, and you want the truth, and if you truly believe in your heart that the President of the United States did absolutely nothing wrong and he has nothing to hide, then why wouldn't you want these witnesses to testify? Why wouldn't you want Bolton to testify? Why wouldn't you want Mulvaney to testify? Why wouldn't you want Lev Parnas to testify? I'll tell you why. Because many of these Republicans, maybe not all, but many of them, they don't want the truth because they know the truth will hurt the President of the United States, and they're more concerned about their own positions, and they're more concerned about their own party than what's going on in this country. The President is not above the law. And I think we're living in a time right now where we need transparency, and I know that's going to be pretty difficult with politicians in general on both sides of the aisle. But don't you think that this guy, Lev Parnas, should be heard in a court of law? Don't you think, JD, that if there is a Senate trial, which there is going to be, that this is a guy that should be questioned? You think that's unreasonable?
I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't think it's unreasonable.
Well, then we're living in very sad times. If this guy, Lev Parnas, does not testify, if this guy is not called as a witness, if he's not allowed to be called as a witness, if the Republicans block it, then they are fools. They are absolute fools. Listen, if they want to call Hunter Biden, if they want to call Hillary Clinton, which has absolutely nothing to do with this specific case, but if these idiots want to do that because they've claimed they would do that, let them do it. It's not going to change the facts in this case.
Well, the question is, if they do that, can they still prevent Les Parnas from testifying?
I don't think so.
Because I think they can.
I don't think so. I think if they would have to reach some sort of deal, and they're saying, listen, if the Democrats are going to call their own witnesses, and obviously Lev Parnas would be a witness of the Democrats, then they want to, they want to call Hunter Biden, they want to call Hillary Clinton with the emails because they're morons. This has nothing to do. This case has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton's emails, okay? And quite frankly, whether Hunter Biden broke the law or not has nothing to do with this. This has to do with, did the president abuse his power? Did the president go after a political rival and put his own interest first before the country? Did the president withhold aid, and did he direct people to withhold aids and dig up dirt on the Bidens? That's what this case is all about. It doesn't have to do with whether Hunter Biden took drugs back in the day or whether he broke the law. It has nothing to do with that. But if they want to call these witnesses and make themselves look like buffoons, that's on them. If I'm a Democrat and I'm in that situation, I'll say, okay, go ahead, call whoever you want.
Here's why they would do that. It's not so much because they're trying to get to the bottom of the situation. It's just because they know that it's going to be publicized. Millions of people will be watching it. A lot of people will be following it, and if they can if they can embarrass Hunter Biden and a couple of Democrats, and they can put out some embarrassing information to make Joe Biden, who is probably Donald Trump's presidential opponent in 2020, look bad, they will do that. But it's for the 2020 election. It's not for this particular. I would say that
I think everything that the Republicans and Donald Trump has done is for the 2020 election. I agree with you.
And so I think 99% of Republicans are very confident that Donald Trump is not going to be impeached and taken out of office. There's not going to be 20 Republicans that are going to turn on him in the Senate. It's just not going to take place. So they're worried about and the Democrats, they somehow believe that this is going to happen. It's not going to take place. But they're thinking on a micro level. The Republicans are thinking on a macro level, and they're saying, well, what can we do to show the American people how bad Joe Biden and Hunter Biden really screwed up, or how bad the situation with Hillary Clinton was, or how corrupt the Democrats are.
Which is ridiculous.
But that's
got nothing to do with this case.
Right, but that's their thought process.
Their thought process is wrong.
Because it's going to be totally publicized. And it's actually an intelligent approach.
Listen, I don't think it's an intelligent approach at all.
I think it's actually being a step ahead.
This is a Senate trial, and it involves Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton.
It's not a standard Senate trial. It's like the third impeachment in the last 200 years of a president.
So you're telling me that
it's a groundbreaking situation that is going to get a ton of national attention.
So you don't
for as long as it goes.
So you think it's a smart move to, if they do this, which I'm not sure they will, to call witnesses that have nothing to do with defending the president of the United States. You think that's smart?
If they can make Joe Biden look corrupt, and if they can prove that Hunter Biden and Burisma and Joe Biden were all working together in a pay-to-play situation, absolutely it's a smart move. Because, again, it's all about 2020. It's not about – again, they in their minds, and I agree with them, I don't think that 20 Republicans are going to turn on Donald Trump.
Okay,
I don't see it taking place.
Then you don't. When you say you agree with them, then you're also saying in a way that you don't. Hold on, let me finish.
I agree with their strategy.
Okay. Well, if you agree with their strategy, then what you're saying is you don't agree with the Constitution, because the Constitution and their oath says this. Hold on. It says that they have to be impartial on this jury. And they have to do their job and do their due diligence to find out whether Donald Trump committed a crime or not. Hold on. Now, when you call up witnesses that have absolutely nothing to do with this specific case, you are not going by the oath that you took. We'll take a few quick phone calls on this and try to, if we can. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, that number to call, 702-257-5396. Coming up here in just a few minutes, Republican congressional candidate Lisa Song Sutton will be joining us in studio. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. Why don't we start off with Rose? Rose, you're first up on the Vegas Take. Go ahead.
Hi, Rose.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good, Rose. Do me a favor. Turn your radio down if you can, please.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, go ahead, Rose.
Basically, I've been listening to you guys, and I'll be honest. I am so sick and tired of this stuff that's been going on. First of all, I think the Democrats didn't make their case, should have called these people and taken the time to do it the right way if they wanted to do it. I think this is a waste of our money, and I'm so fed up because both sides have done things that they shouldn't have done.
I would agree with that.
And you know what? This is just ridiculous. It's a waste of our money. When can we just start doing what we put them in there to do?
Okay.
Which is pass laws.
And I won't say the word.
Let me
work together.
So you want people to pass laws? Is that part of what you're saying, Rose? Okay, so let me ask you a question.
I want people to make a difference. And
Sure.
I
don't disagree with you.
Democrats are doing any of it.
I don't disagree with you, but why aren't you talking about Mitch McConnell that has 140 articles on his desk that could be passed through Congress, but he refuses to work on them? Would you criticize Mitch McConnell?
Yeah, if that's what's happening, of course I would.
Okay, good. Well, I'm happy to hear that.
We put our money is what pays these people.
Yeah.
All these people in Congress make way too much money.
I agree.
They should have a term limit.
I agree.
Be in there for this long, and it's just a show. And everybody that gets on and complains, we need to get together as a unit.
Do you think Donald Trump? Okay,
together.
I agree, Rose.
This is so out of control.
Rose,
hey, Brian, did you see the march? The 8?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Rose, I agree with what you said. I don't disagree with you, but let me ask you a question then. Do you think Donald Trump is the right person to be in office to bring us all together?
I do.
Hold on.
I do.
Okay,
and I know that you don't agree with me, and that's okay that you don't agree with me, but I do, and so do so many other people. We voted. When I didn't vote for Obama, okay? But I never dissed him. I never said anything bad about him because he's the president, and you need to respect the office, period.
You think the president respects the office?
That is reality.
This president from day one has been ridiculed, impeachment from when he got in office.
So you think Trump is the victim? You don't think he ridicules others?
No, I'm not saying that he doesn't. There are some times that he needs to keep his mouth shut.
Do you think the president respects the office? Okay, good. Do you think the president respects the office?
Yeah, I do.
You think the president respects the office when he goes after POWs, when he goes after women based on their looks on a regular basis, when he attacks Gold Star families, and you come on this show? You had me there until you said that you thought that the president of the United States respects the office. Let me tell you something. A president that respects the office doesn't go after our military. He doesn't go after POWs. He doesn't go after women based on looks. Okay? That's not respecting the office. It's disrespecting the office. And you know what? If you want respect, you give respect. That's what my mom taught me when I was very young. Okay? The president does not show respect for others, for anybody that disagrees with him. With all due respect, ma'am, that is not respecting the office. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take some more phone calls on the other side, but we also have Lisa Song Sutton. She is a Republican congressional candidate running. She will be joining us in studio as well when we come back. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You are listening to The Vegas Take.